Welcome back, and thanks for being here on this Friday's program. A great deal to talk about before I leave you for the weekend, which is going to be pretty fair weather-wise. Certainly one day brighter than the others, or the other, and looking through your entire 7-day, we've got a few highs a little higher and at least one low or a couple of lows a little lower, but it's changed, and I'll tweak it for you in just a few moments. I have a few things to talk about before we get to our headlines, if you'll just kind of bear with me for a few seconds. One, well, not so much a personal note, but we'll go there, I guess, in just a few seconds. I need to remind you real quickly that the Ivy Point Hill is not going to be opening Monday. As I told you earlier in the week, they're holding it till at least Friday before it will be back open to the some 4,700 people or cars who travel that road daily. This out of Prestonsburg, a scary situation there that's going to continue to be investigated, I'm sure, as the Prestonsburg Police Department started getting calls this week about Prestonsburg High School students who were starting to have symptoms like they were overdosing and required medical attention, some being transported to the hospital by ambulance, as I understand. 5 of those happening in just 1 week alone, and I'm not sure if it all happened this week or not, but it has continued into this week as far as the investigation concerns. Regardless, the common denominator or factor in every case is that each was a minor student and had been vaping and using other products labeled as being compliant with state and federal law. But all of the medical emergencies and the fact that minors were in possession of these materials at an alarming rate indicated that there was some sort of situation. So afterwards, the Prestonsburg PD, they got some minors with the consent of their parents to go in and make some controlled buys in some area stores, and one of which was noted as the Quick Stop Smoke Shop Discount Tobacco and Vaping Shop located within 1,000 feet of the high school. And it was there that they repeatedly sold to minors under police surveillance. And then they sampled that material that those kids bought, sent it to the lab for testing, and it was determined that none of those products that those kids bought were appropriately labeled, and in some cases were just rogue products that contained levels of more than 90% active impairing ingredients, which upon ingestion by minors resulted in literal overdoses. In short, the tobacco store, they say, was selling products of questionable origin to high school and junior students that couldn't possibly know what they were purchasing because the products were completely mislabeled in violation of federal law, causing them literally to have to be taken to the hospital for overdoses of those ingredients. Following consultation with the federal partners of the FDA and with their intent of an adoption of their Office of Criminal Investigations, the Prestonsburg Police Office executed a search warrant at that store, seized a large quantity of mislabeled and misbranded and questionable products that were sending those kids and possibly others to the emergency room, and they are continuing that investigation. So this next announcement, if you want to call it that, is me talking. This is not the owners of Lee's Famous Recipe. This is me, as however you want to make that link. But we'll be talking more about this in its formality sometime soon. But just to let you know, this is what the owners of Lee's Famous Recipe here have been dealing with, who I, kind of am close to. So, Lee's Famous Recipe of Sagersville is under a corporate forced change to their menu. They are no longer, they have been told at Lee's within a period of 30 days, which ends this Sunday, to get rid of and stop selling or face serious consequences, including the franchise being pulled from them, all hot wings. That's the hot and spicy wings and the crispy buffalo wings, chicken wings, one of our most popular menu items for years. The cobblers, blackberry, peach, that was actually a Lee's Famous Recipe item when we opened the store, well, it's no longer on their corporate menu, and we've been told to stop selling it. The dumplings, the chicken and dumplings on Sundays, the dumplings, gone. And as are the famous foot-long hot dogs, to which, I don't know, maybe a couple of thousand sold every month. This is going to be a financial hit to Lee's Famous Recipe. It is going to be a serious hit to a lot of customers, as these are some of our most valued and favorite items that they are being forced to remove from the menu completely or face legal repercussions and consequences. I know that the Mount Sterling Lee's Famous Recipe is still selling pulled pork. Now, how that's happening, I don't know. If you would so wish to find, I'm sure they have a website. I know Lee's Famous Recipe has a website. I guarantee there's a link to somebody there. And if you want to get on there and raise a little hell, feel free to do so. It's a chicken restaurant being told not to sell chicken wings. We'll talk more about it later, but just a little FYI, Sunday, last day for all of it. And I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Incompetence runs amok. I'll be right back with the rest of our headlines in a second. It's in the air and it's on the calendar. Fall is here and the seasonal shop is filled with new clothes for the season. New arrivals from Charlie Page, Mud Pie, Royce, and more. And the new shoes are some of their favorites that they've ever had. And beautiful t-shirts and sweatshirts for every occasion and season, plus new shirts for all the Wildcat fans, the McGoffin County Hornet fans, teachers, football mamas, and more. And fellas, they didn't leave us out either. After many requests, they have brought back the fan favorite turn rows, shirts, and hoodies, and they've got a large selection of Ridge and Holler. And if you need a little self-pampering, their new selection of spa gifts are the perfect gift idea or a treat for yourself. Fall and Halloween decor on the floor right now. It's gorgeous, and Christmas is coming through the door right now, all at the seasonal shop.
Hello, I'm Dr. Cheryl Stalder-Cheney, podiatrist currently located in Sayersville, Kentucky. I've been servicing patients within Eastern Kentucky for the past 20 years.
Our feet are the foundation for everything we do, and whether you're suffering from fractures or injuries, need custom orthotics, diabetic foot care, sports medicine, heel pain, wound care, or anything else foot-related, relief is just one step away.
Welcome to Hope Family Podiatry Center, where we take care of all of your podiatric needs.
Located on the Parkway next to Hope Pediatrics. 2 locations, 2 ATMs, too much history, over 120 years, and just too many reasons not to trust the oldest, only banking family that exists for the sole purpose of helping your families, our friends, grow financially and securely. Lean on Sayersville National Bank for any of your home, auto, commercial, retirement, or online banking needs. And let us help you make your dreams come true. Logan Corporation in Sayersville is now hiring. Due to continued growth and expansion, Logan Corporation is now looking for all local welders and fabricators, and experience is not necessary. For full-time positions with benefits, applications must be picked up at the Logan Corporation office at 124 Ward Road off of Parkway Drive in downtown Sayersville. Logan Corporation since 1904 and a leader in the manufacture of mining and truck equipment.
When Joe Biden abused his power and opened the southern border, I took him to court. When Biden mandated vaccines, I got it reversed. When Biden drove up the price of new cars and gas at the pump, I rallied a dozen state governments to block him. Now the Washington liberals want to change our country for the worse. As your governor, I will fight them every day. Andy Beshear, he never will. I'm Daniel Cameron, and I put Kentucky first, even when it's hard.
A number of court happenings here in McGoffin County and in Jansen this week. Indictments released by the Jansen County Grand Jury. I'll go over a few of those tonight, and those will, for the most part, focus on copper theft, and that's just a whole story in and of itself. As well, the school bus crash that happened, of course, last November 14th here in McGoffin County that injured a number, if not nearly all, students aboard. That had a preliminary hearing. That case did earlier this week. I have that as well as some other courthouse news. There was a preliminary hearing earlier today in relation to the November 14th school bus crash on Route 40 in which 18 students and the driver were on board. As of our last update months ago, there were 5 lawsuits at the time involving a total of 11 of those 18 kids. The preliminary hearing held this week was for 3 additional students or the representatives or parents thereof to ask to be included in that lawsuit or lawsuits, bringing to total now 14, as I understand, out of the 18 students which have asked to be a part of these lawsuits. The cases are only consolidated in terms of discovery, so it's still multiple separate cases, as I understand. Judge Childers sustained that motion today in court after the lawyers for the 3 asked to intervene. I do not have the next court date or any other information at this time. The grand jury in Magafa County has not met for the past 2 months. There was a scheduling conflict, as I understand, last month, and I'm uncertain as to why they did not meet yesterday. However, in circuit court, Judge Kim Childers was there and had been asked prior to recuse herself and also grant a change of venue for the case of Anthony Taube, 47, of Sagersville, the former Magafa County High School criminal justice educator and instructor who has been indicted on sexual abuse in the first degree and rape in the third degree, a victim under the age of 18, a student at the high school during the time in which he was employed. The judge did agree to recuse herself earlier today, only referring to on court documents in regards to the second argument that was made on behalf of attorneys representing Taube. The change of venue, as I understand, was denied, meaning the case will continue to be held here in Magafa County. In Jansen County Circuit Court, indictments returned this week today by the current grand jury. I can only go through a portion of those this evening, and we will go through the entire list sometime next week. Caitlin L. Allen of Lexington was indicted on receiving stolen property over $1,000, accused of being complicit with Earl Lane, whose photograph was not available, but Lane of Clay City. Both indicted for receiving stolen property over $1,000 for being in possession of a number, I think 2 electric guitars worth over $1,700, an amplifier, cell phones, a welder, and other items in which they were found to be in possession of, stolen from Clinton Castle's residence of Thialca, totaling well more than $1,000. Again, Earl Lane of Clay City and Caitlin L. Allen of Lexington indicted for those thefts. The next 3 all center around the theft of copper and the situations that arise from it as far as the actual indictments themselves. William Ramey, 47, of Boonscamp in Johnson County, indicted for unlawful acts relating to acquiring metals and persistent felony offender in the first degree, meaning he's already got 2 prior felonies on his record. He was indicted, said to be complicit with another man for stealing or damaging lines, transmission lines owned and operated by AT&T, trying to get the metal from them in an amount of a loss of about $6,169 to the provider. Now, the man he was said to be complicit with in stealing those copper lines was identified in another indictment, a separate indictment. His name is Charles E. Hall of Paintsville, who was as well indicted for the same unlawful acts relating to acquiring metals. And as well, he has 2 prior felonies, so he's being indicted for being a persistent felony offender in the first degree, which enhances any sentence that they would receive. He, too, indicted for stealing copper worth an estimated $6,169 belonging to AT&T. And in the third indictment, Justin Matthew Mollett of Inez, indicted for theft by unlawful taking and criminal mischief. $1,750 worth of a wire that he stole belonging to Foothills Communications, as well as the over $12,800 in damages that he left behind as a result. This is some more information I can add to all of these cases. I spoke with Ruth Conley of Foothills earlier today, the CEO, and Foothills has had 6 cuts in just this month of October on their network. 3 of them just last week in varying counties, Johnson County being one of the hardest hit. Yesterday's left customers without service to the tune of about 900 customers. And if you could call this insult to injury, these thieves are targeting copper lines which are no longer of any use. They are working as hard as they can, that being Foothills, to try to get them down and recycle them themselves. But the big problem is thieves are targeting them because of the copper's value, but a lot of these lines are either attached to or just near fiber optic lines, and they're cutting those too and trying to get to the copper, and it's causing outages by the thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of damages and losses. I have one of the saddest announcements that I have made in a while coming up in just a few moments. And a preface to that will be tonight's obituaries, which will be following tonight's Magafa Farm Bureau calendar, which is next. I'll be right back. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or a relative. and about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Get the right fit, the right tread, and the reliability you need for whatever you're rolling in at Conley Tire, where right now through October the 31st, get a $100 rebate on Generals, $120 on Kumos, and go to conleytire.net to find other special offers on the biggest names, plus brakes, oil changes, and computer diagnostics, all with 6 months no interest at Conley Tire in Staffordsville. The reassurance of getting your medications and over-the-counter needs at Sagersville's oldest and most trusted pharmacy. The convenience of curbside pickup and call-ahead service. And the fact that you can walk in, order to go, or sit down and get gourmet quality hot fudge brownies, nachos, shakes, coffees, hot dogs with homemade sauce, desserts, and more makes it more than your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy. It's a destination in downtown Sagersville, Fraser's Prater Drugstore. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. With no birthdays tonight, that's becoming a bit of a rarity around here. We'll go straight into the calendar and straight into free ice cream. Free soft-serve ice cream tomorrow, 11 till 2 at the Mountain of Hope Baptist Church there on top of the Ivington Hill. They hope you'll stop and enjoy some time with them and some free ice cream, 11 till 2 tomorrow. They are on top of the Ivington Hill there on 114 going out of Sagersville to the right if you're headed towards Prestonsburg or Floyd County, and 11 to 2 tomorrow. Free ice cream. They're having a really good time doing this, and I think they like ice cream just as good as everyone else, too. And, you know, your attendance. Sagersville High School class of 73 celebrating their 50th year reunion tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the evening at the Montgomery County Health Department. Still time to call classmate Pete Shepard if you have any questions or concerns or want to make sure everyone knows you're coming. 367-5022 is Pete's number to call. And a couple of quick reminders. Next Thursday is the big Sagersville Spooktacular. They have the trunk or treat in the city park starting at 11 that morning till 2:30, then 5:30 to 8, and then the Thriller Dance in downtown at 8:45. Then trick or treat is set for the 31st, which will be, of course, on a Tuesday following. The Pink Ribbon Fiesta is set for next Thursday for breast cancer survivors here in Montgomery County. Ladies, if you can, let the Extension Service know you're coming. 349-3216. Sagersville Free Will Baptist is having their trunk or treat next Friday, the 27th, 6 to 8. They're going to have tons of fun and candy. And don't forget that the Christmas in November event is coming up November the 3rd and 4th. And if you want to be a vendor, you need to contact these two ladies, Janice or Sherry, at those numbers to let them know. It's just a small fee for one day or for both days, and it's going to be a great event at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. I've been doing this for maybe as long as or near as long as I've been doing the show. And I'm hitting a big milestone in just a couple of weeks with that. I guess that'll be another story. And at the same time, I've been telling you this for about as long. Calendar announcements, birthdays, and anniversaries. Send them here. I'll tell everyone about them. Want them in the paper? Send those to Heather at SagersvilleIndependent.com. Funeral services brought to you nightly by the Montgomery County Funeral Home. Services now being set for this Sunday at 1 o'clock for Donna Joy Howard Helton, 65 of Lexington, but formerly of Sagersville, who passed away yesterday at her home. The daughter of the late Alvin and Stella Hager Howard. She's survived by her daughters Olivia Joy Maynard and Valerie Gomez, her brothers Oliver Dwayne, Travis, Donald Ray, and Billy Ray Howard, and her sisters Linda Howard and Anna Jenkins, and 2 grandkids. She's also preceded in death by her husband Tex. Services again Sunday at 1 from here in Sayersville at the McGoffin County Funeral Home, and friends can visit the funeral home tomorrow evening after 6. And this is the statement I was referring to earlier. A dear friend of mine who I have cherished since I have known him, and most certainly since the news started 25 years ago nearly. James Edward Jimmy Allen, 93 of Sayersville of Kentucky Street in Dixie, passed away earlier today at the St. Mary's Medical Center in Huntington. Arrangements are incomplete at this hour, but I believe to be made over the course of the weekend by Jimmy's family, and more on him in just a moment.
Platinum award-winning singer-songwriter Chris Jansen is coming to the MAC, and he'll be playing hits such as Buy Me a Boat.
But it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull it.
Fix a Drink.
But I can fix a drink.
And one of his most recent hits, Good Vibes.
I'm getting them good vibes. I'm living this good life.
Get your tickets now. Call 1-888-MAC-ARTS, stop by the People's Bank box office, or visit macarts.com.
I got me a full cup.
At Appalachian Wireless, we have the best service and the best deals right now.
Save up to $500 on iPhone 13s and 14s, all models, all gigabytes with trade-in.
Maybe go for an iPhone 12 for a penny. A penny with a 2-year contract.
We're not leaving out Samsung. Save up to $350 on select Samsung devices, including the S23.
It's a win-win this month at Appalachian Wireless. The service, the savings. Y'all got to jump on this deal right now.
At Appalachian Wireless, we get you because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
See AppalachianWireless.com for terms.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars. I believe in always finding a way to do what you love. I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
So when you're in this profession that I am, with the news show, with the newspapers and the like, you come to value people maybe more so than not who dedicate so much of their lives, perhaps their entire life, to history, to our local history. And we've lost a few of those folks that we will never see the likes of over the course of the last few years. And we lost one today that I hold in the highest of regard. He was a gentleman, an absolute gentleman. We will have a show focused on him next week, but I have to go a little bit further, at least tonight, into the passing of, as you heard, Jimmy Allen just a few moments ago. He indeed unmistakable, irreplaceable. There are so many adjectives that a man or a person could use to define him, to try to describe him. But his passing will leave behind a legacy without a doubt. And it will also at the same time leave behind such a huge hole. We have leaned on him on numerous occasions for information and entertainment to go in the paper and here on the show. He never failed to meet those expectations and far exceed them with his knowledge and his history of Sayersville and McGoffin County and his family and of all of ours.
Most of these old pictures that I'm showing here were made by Win Flint. He had a studio here on Coal Branch out there by the United Baptist Church. And here's a picture of him sitting in the back seat, and the picture is so plain you can see the date on the license plate. It was 1914, and that's a Studebaker car. And this is the oldest picture I've ever seen of Sayersville. It's an 1885 photo. I got it from Alice Lloyd College, and it's got the first courthouse that they had here. It was built in 1867, and they tore it down in 93 in order to build the brick courthouse.
From the time Jimmy was a little boy, and most certainly a teenager, he told me in this interview back in 2010, when he was honored with a showing, and he honored us with a showing at the Sayersville Renaissance. It was well before he was a Grand Marshal in the parade, that 4th of July and the like, and we took some time to make a weekend and an official day out of it as he was recognized by the local government. But Jimmy has just gone to depths like no other to preserve our history, mostly through photographs that his grandfather took, but as well through other resources, any and all. And he kept them filed neatly, not just in physical form, but in his mind. And he knew everything about every one of them until the day he passed earlier today. I mean, his mind, his ability to do that was just remarkable and uncanny, and we will forever have parts of Sayersville and Montgomery County's history with that we would never have had without him, and of course his grandfather and a lot of other sources. But he compiled all of these, and he was so gracious to share them with us here at the Independent, or with anybody who had any interest, and it was just always a remarkable thing to sit down and talk to Jimmy.
Well, back when I was a teenager, Win Flint, the one made about all these, he was my grandpa. And I helped him some when I was a teenager. I would go out and make pictures for him if you had some to make of a family reunion or a wedding or something like that. I'd go out and make his pictures for him. And then I got a hold of all these old negatives after he passed away, and there wasn't pictures. There was a lot of them hadn't been printed up, and I just got interested to see what I had, got to having some of them printed up, and wound up with a great big collection of pictures.
So you've literally been putting this together your whole life?
Oh yeah, and I've had all these negatives and things since '59.
As you heard earlier, services, I believe, are going to be set tomorrow at the Montgomery County Funeral Home, as the family will be making them then. Between now and Monday, you certainly can go to MontgomeryCountyFuneralHome.com and find out more about those when they are to be set. I have no other information on them at this time. Last bit of information I have is tonight's Licking Valley RACC. The outlook has been tweaked since I saw you last. We've got one night even colder than what we were already kind of dreading, and a few days a little warmer, however, than what we were expecting. Nothing more than a very few light showers still out there at this time, and we'll see, depending on where you are, a few with a 20% chance up to about 9 o'clock as far as the technicality of it goes. But there are just a few light showers still dotting out there. We've seen a little bit of sun come out today. We've seen some cold air. We've seen some cold rain. We've seen winds out of the northwest anywhere from 9 to 18, and then we're still seeing a few of those on the lighter side with about 20% chance of showers again. But the good news is, part of the good news at least, is your Saturday looks pretty nice. Sunny and 63, a milder southwesterly wind, 6 to 9 or so. During the day, however, I do want to stress those winds will pick up a little bit tomorrow night. We will see clouds on the increase and winds increase up to 22 miles per hour tomorrow night. But your Saturday night's still going to be dry, and it's going to be near the mid-40s. So a bit of a breeze to deal with, and certainly that'll be a little more notable tomorrow after the sun goes down, if there's still any wind left. But 63 and 44 for your high and your low. We've got a front coming, and look what the effects of it are. Sunday. Patchy fog in the morning, mostly cloudy through mid-morning. I think we'll see some sun, some slow clearing, and we'll hit about 58 degrees. So cooler, but dry on your Sunday. So some clouds during the night, tomorrow night and into your Sunday morning, but no rain with them. 58, becoming sunny, I think, on your Sunday. Clear skies and cold air thereafter. 30 degrees for Sunday night's low. That's frost. Frost Sunday night. Monday morning, you saw Monday was going to be 63 and sunny and a low of 36. That means more frost Tuesday morning. And there's a nice little run thereafter. 73. Frosty in the morning after a 34, 6 degree night or so the night before. But Tuesday, 73 and sunny. Wednesday, 71, partly sunny. 71, partly sunny on your Thursday. We will throw in a 20% chance of showers, in there on Thursday evening. But it's slight, and more so hoping that those will hold off until Friday of next week when we have another system. Just in time for Friday that knocks temperatures down and bumps shower chances up. But all in all, albeit a few cold nights, might put some frost on a few pumpkins. We've got some decent weather, decent weekend, and a pretty nice week next week. I will be having some sort of a Jimmy Allen special next week. If anyone would like to be a part of that or have anything they would like to include into that, please do so. We'll be, of course, doing a write-up on him in the paper just as soon as all that kind of works itself out and as we see fit. Still waiting to, of course, hear when his services are going to be. And I still have a big show to do on Community Day and on the Walnut Festival. Planning on actually hitting one or both of those today, but trying to find that information on Jimmy and some other things is kind of sidelined that. So look for some special programming next week, to say the least, after what I hope is a wonderful weekend for you all. Thank you for being a part of the show.